Hello and welcome to Recap Desk. Today, I will be discussing a romantic comedy movie called Sweet and Sour that was released in 2021. Please note that there may be spoilers ahead, so proceed with caution. The movie is set in Incheon City and follows the story of Jang, a man who has recently been promoted to a permanent position as an engineer. Unfortunately, Jang is hospitalized with hepatitis B, which is a disease that can only be transmitted through bodily fluids and not through the air. Despite recently getting a permanent position as an engineer, Jang Hyuk is hospitalized with hepatitis B, a disease that can only be transmitted through bodily fluids. Unfortunately, his parents and friends are afraid of catching it and only send texts or make brief visits. Even other patients in the room keep their distance and ask for the curtain to be closed. However, Jang Hyuk receives comfort from a kind nurse who even drops a kiss on his back to wish him luck. One night, Jang Hyuk goes for a walk around the hospital and comes across Dae-young smoking a cigarette near the stairs. He notices a ring on her finger, but she says it's just her graduation ring. Dae-young shares that she is on a contract job and has to work 2 long shifts while Jang Hyuk is fortunate to have a permanent job position. The conversation between Jang Hyuk and Dae-young, a nurse he meets while wandering the hospital, is interrupted by the head nurse who is strict about smoking. To avoid trouble, Dae-young pretends that the cigarette is Jang Hyuk's and scolds him before leaving. The following day, Dae-young returns to thank him for covering for her and preventing her from getting into trouble. Oddly, Dae-young begins taking food from Jang Hyuk's plate without his objection. However, when she becomes aware of her actions, she panics and apologizes before departing. She does, however, caution the other patients not to mistreat Dae-young before leaving. Later that evening, they both drink together near a vending machine, and when Dae-young pays Jang Hyuk a visit in his hospital bed. Due to Dae-young's decision to quit coffee and smoking, her fatigue worsens. She even scolds Jang Hyuk when she catches him smoking and throws away his cigarette. Jang notices how stressed she is and starts to help her feel more comfortable in the hospital. He leaves supportive messages on his phone screen for her to see, shares his roommate's expensive food with her, saves her a spot on his bed to nap, and wakes her up before she can be caught sleeping. Jang Hyuk fakes being unwell to get Dae-young to take him outside in a wheelchair. Later, they swap places and Jang Hyuk pushes Dae-young around instead. Dae-young shows her kindness by putting stickers on Jang Hyuk's bandages. However, during one conversation, Jang Hyuk denies having a girlfriend, which upsets Dae-young, causing her to storm off. After hearing the news about Jang Hyuk's discharge, Dae-young seems a bit distant and avoids interacting with him. Jang Hyuk becomes worried that she might be angry with him or that their friendship may have ended. However, he soon finds out that Dae-young is upset about his departure and doesn't want to say goodbye. They exchange contact information and promise to keep in touch. As Jang Hyuk leaves the hospital, he reflects on the valuable lessons he learned during his time there and the special bond he developed with Dae-young. On his final night at the hospital, Jang Hyuk steals some flowers and plans to give them to Dae-young as a farewell gift. However, when the head nurse comes in for his final checkup, he doesn't get the chance to say goodbye to her. The next day, he ignores his parents when they come to pick him up, disappointed that he didn't get to say goodbye to Dae-young. After unsuccessfully trying to find Dae-young at the hospital, Jang Hyuk goes back home and continues to think about her. His friends tell him that the nurse may have been just a figment of his imagination. However, Jang Hyuk can't shake off the memory of Dae-young and returns to the hospital to try and find her again. He attempts to get her phone number from her file, but he is caught and has to leave before he can finish memorizing it. Despite this setback, Jang Hyuk remains determined to find Dae-young again. He tries a bunch of phone numbers that start with the ones he remembers and gets lots of wrong answers until he finally uses the right combination and Dae-young picks up his call. She explains she took some days off because she wasn't feeling well, and that's why he didn't see her at the hospital. So now that he knows she hasn't been ignoring him, Jang Hyuk tells her he likes her. Dae-young and Jang Hyuk have an awkward conversation at her apartment, but eventually, Dae-young invites him to stay the night because she feels lonely. They end up sleeping while cuddling, and in the morning, Dae-young wakes up to find that Jang Hyuk has changed the light bulb and made breakfast. Jang Hyuk and Dae Young's relationship grows deeper as they spend more time together. He brings her food at the hospital and picks her up from work in his dad's car. However, Jang Hyuk gets jealous when he sees another guy talking to her. He even asks her about her relationship with the guy, but she assures him that they're just friends. Despite this, Jang Hyuk can't help but feel insecure and protective of Dae Young. Jang Hyuk continues to show his support for Dae Young by being there for her whenever she needs him. He helps with household chores like taking out the trash, and he spends time with her when she's feeling stressed. During lunch one day, Jang Hyuk notices that Dae Young is not wearing her ring, and she tells him that she lost it. He also suggests that when he gets his own place, she should quit her job, as it seems to be causing her a lot of stress. Jang Hyuk and Dae Young go on a vacation to Jeju and have a great time together. They even try to get matching shirts while shopping, but Jang Hyuk realizes that they are too small for him, which makes him jealous of other couples who can wear them. Despite that, they continue to enjoy their time together, going on walks, eating delicious food, and exploring the beautiful scenery of Jeju. They even share a romantic moment while watching the sunset on the beach. They have a great time on their vacation in Jeju, exploring the island's beautiful scenery and trying out different local foods. Jang Hyuk even takes a surfing lesson and falls into the water multiple times. But despite the fun they're having, Jang Hyuk's insecurities about his weight continue to bother him. One day, while they're out shopping, he sees a group of fit and attractive men, which makes him feel even more self-conscious. Dae Young notices his mood change and tries to reassure him that she likes him just the way he is. But Jang Hyuk's insecurities only seem to be growing. During their vacation in Jeju, Dae Young surprises Jang Hyuk with a pair of matching sneakers. Jang Hyuk promises to use them to lose weight for her and runs around to show his commitment. The scene then cuts to Jang Hyuk running in the park, now skinny and healthy. Jang Hyuk is thrilled about the opportunity to work for a large corporation, even though it means he has to commute from Incheon to Seoul. He is determined to do his best and make a good impression so he can be hired permanently. However, he is also worried about the long commute and how it will affect his time with Dae Young. Despite his concerns, he decides to take the job and work hard to make it a success. Jang Hyuk shares with Dae Young over lunch that he has been offered a temporary contract at a large corporation, which could turn into a permanent job if he performs well. However, the distance is far from Incheon, where they currently live. Their conversation is cut short when other nurses arrive and Dae Young becomes hesitant to be seen with Jang Hyuk. A few days later, Jang Hyuk visits Dae Young at her workplace and introduces her to his new car. He promises her that he will commute back and forth from Seoul every day so that their lives don't have to change too much. Jang Hyuk also feels jealous of Dae Young's overweight coworker. Jang Hyuk starts to adjust to his new work life and tries his best to impress his coworkers, including Bo Yoon, who continues to be competitive towards him. One day, while taking a break outside the office, Jang Hyuk notices a man attempting to jump off a building. He rushes over and manages to save the man's life. News about his heroic act spreads throughout the office and he becomes the talk of the town. Even Bo Yoon starts to soften towards him and they become friends. However, Jang Hyuk soon discovers that his contract won't be renewed due to budget cuts. He becomes worried about how he will tell Dae Young, who has been expecting him to stay permanently in Seoul. The next day, Jang Hyuk tries to make amends with Bo Young by bringing her coffee, but she dismisses him and tells him to focus on his own work. He tries to confront her about her behavior, but she doesn't want to hear it. Meanwhile, Jang Hyuk's project team is having trouble with the design, and they realize that Jang's observation about the bridge's stability was correct. During the presentation to the bosses, Bo Young tries to take credit for the corrected design, but Jang Hyuk stands up and explains that it was his idea. Impressed by his honesty and dedication to the project, the bosses offer him a permanent position at the company. Afterward, Jang Hyuk apologizes to Eun for neglecting her and making her plan their Jeju trip alone. They make up and look forward to their upcoming vacation together. Jang Hyuk and Bo Young are working well together on their new project and even forming a bond, but Jang Hyuk's busy schedule causes him to cancel plans with Bo Young frequently, causing frustration for Dae Young, who has been trying to meet with him. Despite this, their second project is a success and Jang Hyuk and Bo Young decide to celebrate by going to dinner together. However, Jang Hyuk's girlfriend, Yoon, who had been waiting for him, calls to ask where he is. Jang Hyuk starts to feel guilty about lying to his girlfriend and is aware that he needs to tell her the truth about spending time with Bo Young. When he arrives at the apartment, he sees that there are a bunch of trash bags in the hallway and his girlfriend asks him to take them out and change the light bulb. Despite being tired, he complies and takes care of the chores. This situation leads to an argument between two people, Jang Hyuk and Yoon, about feeling tired and the perception that one is not doing enough to help the other. Jang Hyuk had come over to rest, but Yoon had some important news to share with him. She reveals that she hasn't gotten her period, indicating a possibility of being pregnant. This news overwhelms Jang Hyuk with the thought of becoming a father, causing him to excuse himself to take out the trash while he tries to process his feelings. Jang Hyuk is unable to focus properly the following day after finding out about Yoon's potential pregnancy. Dae-yoon calls to inform him that the doctor has confirmed Yoon to be 4 weeks pregnant, leaving Jang Hyuk feeling overwhelmed and moody. His emotional state causes him to unintentionally yell at Bo Young, but he later apologizes to her for his behavior. He misses their next presentation, realizing the need to be responsible and prioritize the new developments in his life. Jang Hyuk takes a day off to accompany Yoon to the obstetrician-gynecologist (OBGYN) appointment. While filling out paperwork for the baby's guardian, Yoon appears awkward, causing Jang Hyuk to notice her discomfort. She then asks him to wait outside, stating that she can manage it alone since she works as a nurse. After the appointment, Jang Hyuk gives her a tight hug, but their intimate moment is interrupted by multiple calls and messages from his workplace. Jang Hyuk chooses to ignore the phone calls from work because he wants to spend time with Yoon. However, after a while, Yoon becomes tired of hearing the phone ring and suggests that he should go and attend to his work. Jang Hyuk agrees but makes sure to send her texts while he is away. Once work hours are over, he decides not to stay late with Bo Young and instead leaves on time to be with Yoon. Jang Hyuk starts commuting daily between Incheon and Seoul, which begins to take a toll on him. The long commute leaves him exhausted, causing him to go to bed early and spend little time with Yoon. Additionally, Jang Hyuk starts to fall asleep at work due to fatigue, which impacts his productivity. He even starts getting ready in his car, something he used to make fun of. On one occasion, he oversleeps and arrives late at work, resulting in him being scolded by his colleagues. Bo Young notices that their new project is falling behind schedule because Jang Hyuk is leaving work early. She convinces him to stay overnight, prompting Jang Hyuk to start going back home fewer and fewer days. However, when Jang Hyuk finally goes out with Yoon during a weekend, he spends their entire walk complaining about his tiredness and wanting to go home. He even rushes Dae-young while shopping, not allowing her to stay for long. While at the macaron stand, Yoon expresses her desire to try the macarons. However, when they get back to the car, Jang Hyuk tells her to buy things online instead, as it is faster. Dae-young, who had come to the market to spend time with him, breaks down in tears, explaining that she did not come there to shop but to spend time with him. Jang Hyuk's words and actions make it seem like spending time with Dae-young is exhausting for him. Despite also being tired from work, Dae-young still puts in the effort to spend time with Jang Hyuk. Jang Hyuk apologizes for his behavior and accidentally calls her Bo Young, which hurts her. She asks him to pull over, but Jang Hyuk misunderstands and thinks she wants him to enter the fast food drive-thru. This misunderstanding leads to an argument in front of the clerk. Dae-young begins to think that Jang Hyuk is cheating on her, which offends him. He confesses that he had been coming over to her place because he felt bad for her. Then, Dae-young reveals that she has terminated the pregnancy, and Jang Hyuk blames both of them for not caring about the baby and reaching that point. They leave the fast food place without grabbing their food, and after dropping Dae-young off at her place, Jang Hyuk returns to Seoul to start living in the apartment he rents there. The next day, the ring Jang Hyuk had bought for Dae-young arrives in the mail, and he decides to hide it in his pencil holder. One evening, he can no longer resist his feelings and kisses Bo Young, which marks the beginning of their relationship. They work together and spend leisure time together, but Jang Hyuk can't help getting distracted every time he sees a nurse uniform on the streets or in shops. Jang Hyuk starts to have second thoughts about his relationship with Bo Young and feels guilty about giving the Jeju tickets to his ex-girlfriend. He begins to question his feelings for both women and wonders if he still has feelings for the Yoon. He becomes distant from Bo Young and starts to avoid spending time with her. Eventually, he breaks up with her and decides to visit the Yoon to talk about their relationship. Especially when he gets a message that confirms that tickets have been reserved. So he's very distracted at work. During the final meeting of the year, the permanent team gets all the credit for their work, and neither Jang Hyuk nor Bo Young gets a position for the future. Afterward, they go to the company's party where Jang Hyuk thinks he may go back to his old job in Incheon. And Bo Young mentions she will study abroad. Now that he is losing Bo Young to Jang, he thinks about the year. And when he checks her profile, he notices it. Says she's leaving to spend Christmas at Jeju, deciding he must have a chance if she is still going through with the trip they planned. Jang Hee rescues the ring from his office and takes a cab to the airport where he stops the taxi just in time as Daeun waves. Just like the beginning of the story. When he comes out of the car, however, he bumps into another man, the fat Jang Yu, that had hepatitis B and is now testing the sneakers. It turns out Skinny Jang, Hugh and Fat Jang who aren't the same person. Do you met Skinny Jang, who almost 2 years before the other one? And she also bonded with him when he was admitted to her hospital with a broken leg. They started seeing each other. Do you also put stickers on his leg cast? What for him? The same matching sneakers and went to Georgia with him for Christmas. Skinny Jang, you even moved to her apartment too, when he started being distant towards her. She found comfort. In fact, Jang is kindness, especially since later he would do all the things Skinny Jang. He wouldn't like changing the light bulb. Her pregnancy was the reason why she was so tired and napping with him. Also, why she quit coffee and smoking and why she would steal food from Fat Jang. He was played the night she spent at the hospital while Skinny Jang, who was away, was spent with Fat Jang here. And it was Fat Jang, whose name that she wrote as the baby's guardian. After she broke up with Skinny Jang Hugh, she removed her ring on purpose and then told Fat Jang here that she lost it. When Skinny Jang, who told her she could have the tickets, she used the chance to invite Fat Jang here to go with her instead. Back in the present day, Yoon checks on Fat Jang Hugh and helps him stand up. She does see Skinny Jang Hugh, but totally ignores him walking into the airport to leave with her friend without a word. Furious, Skinny Jang who insults her and kicks a trash can before going back to the company party, only to discover Bo Young has won a Jeju vacation for two. Overwhelmed by the irony, Jang Hugh decides all this mess is his old boss. His fault for having him sent here, then takes out the ring and proposes to Bo Young as he tells her he loves her. Bo Young turns him down, saying she's not quite there yet. And Jang, he spends the rest of the night drinking. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.